Yukon is where we're based, and Yukon Metals was formed about a year and a half ago from the property portfolio of the Birdall prospecting family. They're famous for the Snowline deposit and the discovery in the eastern part of the Yukon. Yukon Metals acquired the property portfolio that consisted of 17 properties spread across the southern part of the Yukon territory in what we call the temperate zone, although that's very, very relative for the Yukon. And it consists of 43,000 plus hectares of base, precious, critical metals, including gold, copper, tungsten, lead, zinc. When we first got this prospect, we had so many options to choose from that our first couple of years were spent just in sorting out where our best probabilities of success were. And we've managed to do that. We went and explored most of the easily accessible properties, and those ones have been led to a couple of very good prospects. We started with a leadership team of experienced people in both finance, community relations, and deep familiarity with the Yukon, who've got experience running companies like this in the Yukon as well, and a management team that also comes from the Yukon. They live there and they're uniquely qualified to deal with the challenging conditions that we find in this territory. So as I said, we're Yukon specialists. Our geology team has over 60 years of combined Yukon exploration experience, and this runs the gamut from operating and exploring around major mines to small-scale grassroots deposits in a number of different commodities. Our management also live in the Yukon, and many of our employees have houses in the Yukon. We really believe in community engagement and having a positive local impact on the community, and this is a guiding principle for us because we're so locally based. For First Nations, we have very proactive engagement. We approach First Nations before we even think of starting an exploration project to ensure that not only do we have their consent, but we've also got their buy-in on the project, that they want us there, and that there are commercial and community development opportunities for them. So we want to benefit everybody in the local area. And this extends to supporting locally owned businesses. So we work with a number of businesses that we've brought up with us through the process. They started out in early stages, and as we have grown, they've grown, and we've provided the educational support for them to grow their technical skills, and they've helped us with their unique knowledge of the local area. So we have a distinct discovery methodology. As we started with such a large portfolio of properties and such a huge land package, we had to ensure that we followed the same methodology and really developed it and optimized it for the Yukon. And one of those, the first thing we do is we follow the Birdall principle of walking, covering ground, boots on the ground, eyes on the rocks, walking uphill, doing the hard things at the beginning in order to make sure that the prospector's eye is finding those heavy, colorful rocks that often lead to a discovery. Immediately after that, we bring technology into play. We use remote sensing. We use three-dimensional mapping, as much satellite imagery as we can get, and airborne geophysics. So at this point, we start building a scientific model that just pulls in as much data as we can possibly get. Once we've narrowed down our areas to the most prospective focal points, then we start soil sampling. We have proprietary in-house soil sampling technology that gives us better results, as well as using geophysics on the ground to pinpoint where we do the drill holes. Then we build a geological model using software and as much tech as we can throw at it, so we can thoroughly understand the geology, and only at that point do we drill. We want to precisely target all of our holes. So I'm going to run through two of our primary properties. This is where the company is going to be focused. As I mentioned earlier, we started with a wide array of different commodities, all the way from barium to tungsten. We've decided that we're going to focus on the western part of the Yukon, and we're going to focus on two properties that have unusually good potential for copper and gold. The first one is Birch. This is in the central west part of the Yukon. And this had previously been explored for gold. We did a soil sampling campaign in our first year of operation where we identified a 1.4 kilometer long copper and gold anomaly in the soils. We drilled that this year, and we hit metal and mineralization in every hole. There's a zone that's dominantly copper and a zone that's dominantly gold, and this is over a 750 meter strike, so a very compelling early set of results. The thing that really got us excited about Birch is that there are nearby indicators that are consistent with a porphyry, and these are geochemical, these are remote sensing radiometric ratios, and the presence of a certain indicator mineral called tellurium that is found with porphyries in the Yukon. That's got us very excited about this particular property, especially as it's relatively accessible. It's only 35 kilometers from road access. The permits are in place, and we actually left a drill rig on site over the winter, set up on a platform, so we can begin drilling as soon as the snow melts in the spring. There's a picture of some of the core that we got. We are running strong copper and gold numbers, and at the bottom you can see what's essentially a sideways slice through the mountain with the 2025 drilling identified, and about 2 kilometers to the south, the porphyry potential. So we're going to be conducting geophysics and drilling in order to try and define that porphyry. That's the real goal for us at Birch. AZ is our other focus property. This is in the western part of the Yukon. This is quite close to the Alaska border, and this is a massive property. In a helicopter, it can take 15 to 20 minutes to fly across it. There is gold and copper on the surface everywhere across this property. There were alluvial gold mines historically, as well as just pure native copper nuggets that can be found on the surface. We drilled this last year and got a very good idea of the geology, and the last drill hole that we drilled came up with potassic mineralization in the core. This is something that you only find in close proximity to a porphyry. So we did a soil sampling campaign around that drill hole and did a deep induced polarization survey of the area and came up with a absolutely classic geophysical target that aligns with the soil sampling anomaly and is a drill target that I would have a drill rig on tomorrow if we could possibly do that in the middle of the winter. So that one we're extremely excited about. That is a legitimate porphyry target, and that's something that we're going to drill as soon as we possibly can. In addition to those two main projects, we have an early stage pipeline, and because we have 17 properties, we try and get 3 to 5 of those every year, where we just send out geological teams. They do a reconnaissance, they do low impact exploration techniques, and just check it out, because we found that the prospector's eye is our most effective discovery tool, and then we can decide where to prioritize those and build a pipeline of future projects. And those include precious metals, gold and silver. We do have a tungsten property. We'll be doing that this year, as well as lead, zinc, and some more base metals in the eastern part of the Yukon. We're currently well financed. We have enough money in the bank to run this upcoming exploration season with a market cap of around 50 million, good liquidity, trading around 150,000 shares per day, and with some very strong and dedicated core group of investors, and that includes the Birdall family, who currently own about 20% of the company. And so that group really gives us the confidence to go and really advance these projects. So the key catalyst that we can look forward to is results from Birch and AZ this season. Our critical metals properties will be coming out probably in August to October. We'll be exploring those. And we'll be releasing prospecting results throughout the year. There will be a good news flow in the spring of this year as well as coming through the summer. And I'll just close on a community relations note. The two gentlemen in this photo they're some of the owners of Vision Quest Drilling, who started with us when we started the company doing soil sampling, running camps, and learning about the exploration business. They bought a diamond drill rig and partnered with another drilling company to learn how to run it. And within weeks of this drill arriving on site, they were drilling 500-meter deep holes at Birch and conducting incredibly successful drill campaigns. And these are from the Kelowna First Nation, which is the traditional territory where AZ and Birch projects are located. So we're really happy to have them on board. And if we can have smiling people from the local communities who are building and expanding the skills to contribute to exploration, we're happy as well. Thank you very much.